Eagles Athlete Summer Session Talk. We are glad to engage in discourse this afternoon, and we are certainly looking forward to fruitful conversations, fruitful discussions, all things Galen, all things Eagles, all things sports. And I'm your host for this afternoon, Brighton Cod. No stranger to the athletic world. I'm also an alumni of Galen University, and I'll be joined by my co-host, who I'll give the privilege of introducing herself. No stranger to sports at all either.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is India Gordon. I'm on an athletic scholarship here at Galen University, currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in anthropology, and I'll be the co-host for today. I hope you guys enjoy.
And we'll be talking all things Galen Eagles. Just like India, I also hold a bachelor's degree in anthropology with a minor in environmental science. And sports was my way of getting an education. And so we are joined this afternoon by none other than Brandon Flores. And I'll give Brandon the mic so that he could introduce himself as well.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Brandon Flores. I'm a student at Galen University, currently on an athletic scholarship as well. My major is criminal justice. I am pursuing a bachelor's degree. Likewise, thanks.
So thank you, Brandon. Thank you for joining us. And we look forward to engaging. Today, we want to start talking about sports and education because oftentimes people tend to separate the two. Sports should be sports and education should be education. But for us as athletes, and as academics, we see the importance of balancing both sports and academics. I mean, if it was not for sports, I would have not been able to left the country to pursue a master's degree. I would have not been able to get a bachelor's degree from Galen University. And it's the same for you all. You all are pursuing your education in your various fields and as well, dominating on the court as well. So Brandon, just give us a bit of a backdrop as to your story and where you are right now in terms of your sports athletic journey.
All right, guys. Sports and education, we all know that both of them are important. However, we must find a balance between both. And for myself, I would say when it comes to sport, I normally invest most of my time into sport and sometimes forget the importance of education. But at one point, I realized that both of them play a significant role because it works hand in hand. To gain one, you need to put in the work likewise for the other. Because with sport, yes, you are able to play, but when it comes to education, no one will come to you and give you that. You need to go and work for it likewise. So when it comes to both of sports and education, you must be disciplined in order to get it done.
You know, as a Belizean athlete or as athletes, I know Brandon, you're in basketball, the basketball program at Galen University. India, you're a volleyball player. I see you from time to time at different tournaments across the country. But as Belizean athletes, we understand the struggles of the sporting landscape. If you'd share with us, Brandon, what are some of your perspectives or opinions on sporting in Belize and what you think might need to change to facilitate sports going forward? What would those opinions be? What are your sentiments about sports in Belize?
I would say sports is thriving in Belize. However, we still have a long way to go. Why? My reason for this is because when you look at different communities, I mean, you have a lot of talented individuals, but not a lot of them is fortunate enough to pursue education for several reasons. It could be lack of finance. It could be the area they live. It's hard to even commute from one to the next. So I think when it comes to the people involved or the people that grant these scholarship opportunities, they should reach out to like the communities that don't really have much of a help or don't, I would say, sports orientated, and give them the opportunity likewise as people in urban areas, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. India, how would you chime in on this question as well, my dear co-host?
Well, me personally, I can speak a lot about volleyball, my sport. I think that's well in the media out there. People know about it across the country. So for my sport specifically, I think we're thriving very much nationally and internationally. And for other sports, I think that the smaller communities are doing a very good job at pushing for maybe media coverage or just getting it wider across the country. So I think we're thriving in that aspect of sports.
You know, one of the things I've experienced as an athlete and academic, as a student athlete, that is that there are a lot of misconceptions about student athletes and what we do and what we don't do. A lot of stereotypical remarks about student athletes and just or performance perhaps in school. What are some of these misconceptions that you all face? Brandon, you in particular, since you're a guest for today, what are some of these misconceptions that you hear about student athletes?
Yes, when it comes to student athletes, um, we hear a lot of things. I also heard that student athletes get equal opportunity as others. You know, they are treated differently. Most of the time, they are spoon fed. Um, and some of the privilege we have, others don't have. That's some of the things you hear out there. But from my perspective, I don't think it's true because I mean we get treated just as any other student. I mean we have to hold ourselves to a 2.8 GPA and above in order to maintain our scholarship. So I don't think it should be something people look at and try to be more positive about it because I mean the fact that we got the opportunity to gain a scholarship, I mean any other person could do so. It's just that we are good at what we do. So I guess we got recognized. But I mean I don't see it fit for people to say the things they say when it comes to student athletes.
Agreed, agreed. What are your sentiments about that, India?
I think that people do think that athletes, student athletes, are spoon fed, but really, I think it's a bit more weight on our shoulders, not taking away from our academics, but I think it's a bit more weight on our shoulders because we have to play our sport, we have to excel on the court and off the court. There's one more extra activity that we have to pay attention to. It's not just our books. And that's about it. Yeah, how about you, Brighton?
I think regarding this question, student athletes are really and truly um, developed into holistic people after school, because the transition from the student athlete world into the professional world and still perhaps being an athlete also requires critical time management skills. It requires serious discipline. Um, and I think that that's one of the things that I was able to hone in on while I was a student athlete at Galen University. How do I balance my time? I want to do good in the classroom just as I want to do good in the court, on the court. And I think one of the misconceptions is that people tend to think athletes like ourselves don't perform in the classroom, and that's far from the truth. Um, I've been competing with other academics within my classroom that have not even one day stepped foot on the court or one day stepped foot in a gym. And so I think getting past that misconception that athletes aren't brilliant um, is something that I would like to see going forward. And then also now looking at sports as a developmental tool. For us, it's helping us develop as young people who are becoming productive citizens of society. It's providing us with the opportunity to expand our knowledge system and engage and build networks with other people. How have you seen, Brandon, sports acting as that development tool for you to become a better citizen?
Well, for me, sports has always been a platform going forward because when it comes to sports, I find myself gaining a lot of opportunities that people don't gain. I get to represent Belize more than once. And I was fortunate enough for that opportunity. I also get to do a lot of things within the community that people look up to me as someone productive. So to maintain that status, I must do the right thing. And I also have a kid that look up to me as a father. So I play many roles when it comes to not just sports, but I mean a community oriented person as well.
Brighton, could I add something? Well, I want to
Absolutely.
ask you a question. I know you're in the workforce already and you are very much active as a volleyballer. How has that helped you develop as a person and add positives into the workforce?
Oh, wow, definitely a good question. So certainly the workforce can get very demanding with time. Um, I think just learning from my experiences in balancing the athletic world and the journey that comes with, as well as balancing the academics world. At this current moment, I'm just swapping the academics with the professional realm. And perhaps the professional realm requires more time, more flexibility as well. But I think it's taught me to be a more holistic individual in being able to navigate adversities. And I think it's pushed me beyond what I think I'm capable of achieving. Something that we're used to as athletes, being able to push our mental capacity forward as well as our physical capacity forward to be able to accomplish certain tasks. Um, Certainly what sports does is that it allows you to work on soft skills as well, something that we don't oftentimes speak about, but communication, knowing how to solve problems. These are things that we learn on the court as well. We learn communication, we learn how to solve problems, we learn how to overcome adversities and challenges. And those things are critical to transition into the workforce as well, because there are situations or times when you are going to be under the pressure pot and you have to be able to navigate that circumstance, that situation, and be able to produce, right? And so it's similar to delivering on the court. If you could deliver on the court, you could deliver in the workplace. um, I wanna jump into a little game here, just to hype up things a bit. It's called a would you rather game, and I want to ask this to both Brandon and India. So these are just basically speed questions, and I'd like to hear your feedback on these questions. Would you rather be the star player on a poorly performing team or the worst player on a champion team?
I
Worst,
think I'd pick, yeah, the worst player
worst
on a
player in a
champion team.
championship team.
That's only because I think there's a lot of good athletes around me and I could learn from them and somehow become like them.
Same with you, Brandon.
Likewise.
And you, Brighton?
I would pick that as well, because I think if I'm the worst on a championship team, then I am still better than a lot of other people who are playing the sport. I mean, when you're on a championship team, it means that the caliber of the people that you're training with is very high. So you also have the ability to elevate your game as well, right?
Yeah.
Next one, would you rather have a long average career or a short but amazing career?
Long
Short but
average career.
amazing.
You rather have a long average one, Brandon?
Yeah, I always look at longevity. I mean, having a long career and being an average player, you still get recognized just as a person. I mean, having a short
Yeah.
career, being
I
more
think
than
I
average.
think for me, I would go with the short but amazing career. I mean, that's reflective of my current reality. Um, I went to play volleyball professionally in Finland. The opportunity is still there to go back and play professionally, but here I am in an office in an office space. But I think the volatility of sports as well is something that we don't talk about because one injury could end your career. So longevity is good and it's necessary for sure if you want to have a really nice career. But sometimes accidents happen, right? And that out of our control. So a short, amazing career is also good. Would you rather become a coach or do something completely different than sports after retirement?
Become a coach.
A coach, same.
What do you think? What do you think that the most important quality of a coach for have?
Patience. I think
Communication.
patience.
Able to
Communication,
communicate. Yeah.
and I think a coach has to have really good organizational skills,
That
management
too.
skills. Yeah. Would you rather date another sports player or someone who isn't in a sport? In a sport.
A
Someone who
sport
isn't
player.
in a sport. Mm-mm.
Why am I hearing red flags for athletes?
No, no red flags, but if I have a busy schedule, I don't want someone who also has a busy schedule when I'm off. I want to spend time.
I hope you all are listening, viewers. Would you rather have your family watch your game on TV at home or watch it at the stadium?
At the stadium.
Watch it at the stadium.
I
Definitely.
I prefer. So I've played in front of Belizeans before back in 2016, and actually we have a tournament coming up in August as well. I prefer when Mama stay home and watch me on TV
No, why?
because I personally feel like when they like I feel like you could feel when they zoom in for you, like when you're on the court, and sometimes to me, I could even hear like when my brother did aside they make a whole lot of noise. And that for me more distracting than anything because
Well,
I dialogue with my brother a lot. So I listen to a lot of things that he say. So when he left on the side and he like, Cho, Brighton are the perform on the court, coach. Man for Brighton, then the thing get in your head. And
pressure
so
bus air fighting.
um I wouldn't say it detracts me from what I'm doing on the court or my focus, but I hear it. And sometimes I like, after a game, I like, bro, I could hear you on the court, you know. If nobody else I could hear on the court, I could hear you. But yeah, certainly, I prefer to watch from home. At least not until the finals. When the finals, they could come back nice.
Oh
Would
gosh.
you rather win the MVP award or a team championship?
Team championship.
Team championship.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
it's all about getting the rings. Speaking about rings, getting back to Galen University,
Uh-huh.
um, when I started in 2014, we were already two-time champions. We made three championships after that. This was in until 2017, and then we got hiatus. Well, Brandon, I understand that you were a part of the team this year that brought back the championship to Galen University. What was that experience like?
That was really a good experience. Why? Because my first year at Galen, I realized that they have a lot of nice players, but I just come along and I compliment all the players and make the team much more better. So when I found out that we had games and the game was like a day apart, I was like, man, I have to prepare myself mentally. But physically, I'm always there. It's just that you have to get your mind, set that basketball is the game you play, or whichever sports discipline you decide to play.
Yeah.
And end of the day, we became victorious, and that was a good feeling to know that I would be on a banner sometime soon in Galen office.
Yeah. And you, India, what has your experience been like playing with Galen Eagles?
Well, this was my previously in November, I think. It was my first year representing Galen because of COVID, the first 2 years of me being enrolled. But my experience with them, it was very cool, very chill, laid back, all girls, fun. At nationals, it was really fun. We played in the sun, kind of, it was draining. But
Mhm.
the games after, wouldn't say, I just think we weren't prepared maybe mentally enough. And we had a bit more, well, a bit less time playing together. So we came in second, but I think this year's national should be better if we practice from earlier and just get that cohesive bond with each other. But it was a good experience.
What would you say would have been your highlights um, being a part of the Galen University basketball team, Brandon, thus far?
I would say my highlight would be the championship because I mean that was so far the most outstanding thing um, for my Galen career so far. But I would also like to highlight the fact that without the team that we had, it wouldn't have been possible because I mean all of us was on the same page. I mean yes, when it comes to team, you have really issues with players, but once it's not something big and out of control that you can't get a grip of, I mean it's much easier to overcome. So I guess my highlight was winning the championship.
No, I about for stir up some worms because, and I think our viewers know, but Brandon, you used to play with EJC, right?
Yes.
All right. Brandon used to play EJC, and I think I played a game against Brandon perhaps in my last year while he was playing at EJC and I was playing with Galen. Of course, Galen Eagles win the game, but Brandon is now at Galen Eagles, so that must say something about free program. What made you made that transition, Brandon?
To be honest, I thought about it a long time ago, it's just that, at the time I was living in Dangrega and I find it so difficult to commute every day or most of the time. And I never had any family member near that I could have, stayed for the time being. But gradually as I get older and I join the field of work, I decided, to migrate to Telmopan and I find Telmopan as home now. So I see it much easier to go to Galen University, you know, one of the school I always admired. Now I'm there representing. It's a good feeling.
India, you think the man to tell the truth or you just walk up on the winning squad?
I think it just will walk up on winning squad. I think so.
No, no, but we definitely welcome Brandon with open arms. Brandon is a very excellent is an excellent athlete. I've seen Brandon play before. Very physical, very aggressive on the court. Um, Basketball, honestly, was not my sport. I think everybody know this, but you can't just put aside your athletic ability when you have an opportunity in front of you. And I always tell people, once you have the opportunity to expand and develop yourself, and you have the ability to do that with what you're presenting, then go for it. Um, let's talk a bit about your experiences with training, Brandon, at Galen University, because oftentimes you might hear certain things like student athletes not put in the amount of work with maybe work scholars put in or other scholars put in. What has your daily routine been like as a part of the Galen University basketball team? Walk us through that.
All right. Well, when it comes to training and all these niceties, for me, I'm a person I always try to maintain a certain body weight. Reason being is because when it comes to like any sports discipline, I know it's only a couple months that separate them from happening. So I'm like, as a player, I need to keep myself ready at all time in case anything happen. So what I would normally do when it comes to training, I watch my schedule when it comes to class, and then I realize that we have a long gap in between. So whatever I need to do, I try to do prior to that. And then when it comes to workout, I always try to find the time. The only difficult part about working out is because we work out in Central Farm area, which is most difficult because I have to catch a bus back home, which I don't like. Does anybody know if you're 6 foot and above, being in a bus is very uncomfortable? So
You're preaching to the converted here.
yeah. So I try my best to always be on time because punctual is something was instilled in me when it comes to my job. I have to always be on time. So I always try to be 15 minutes prior to workout time. And I find it much easier because it give me, I would say, an advantage because I stretch before workout, and the guys that come late, they find it difficult to really get in a rhythm because they come sometimes exact on time. So I choose to be 15 minutes before the time, so I have an excellent workout. And yeah, so good so far, I would say, when it comes to my strategy.
You India, what was your your daily workout regimen looking like?
Well, for me, I had classes maybe 2 times out of the week, and we, as well as the basketball players, we practiced at Central Farm. But I also play for a club in Belmopan. So even when we weren't playing for Galen and practicing here at Central Farm, I was at Belmopan with my club team. So I never really got out of that momentum. It's a year-round program. So I was just continuously playing ball. Um, that's it. Every evening at 5 o'clock, 5:30, I would go and play. So it wasn't really hard for me to, or I didn't really have parts of the year that I stopped playing. It was just continuous.
What would you guys say would be your most challenging time throughout your um, year at Galen University, particularly since India, you mentioned that last year, November, was the first time you were able to step on the court with the team. What would you say was the most challenging moment throughout that time when the workload was coming down and you also had to meet your performance deliverables on the court? What would you say that would be? Brandon, starting with you.
I would say when it comes to like near outlet time, sometimes it's near the semester where most of the work accumulate. And I was like, man, the first time I get to play outlet, I think one of the game I never wanted to represent because I find it difficult. It was so hard to manage my time at first, and I listened to advices from the different advisor I have, and they teach me a lot of things that enhance my ability up to this day. So I would say it's just how you manage yourself as an athlete. But for the most part, I would say Galen, you really need to put your mind to work because I will be honest, um I'm not the type of person to I used to always have this mentality. I say I would go to school and do my best, but when it comes to Galen, I really have to do my best. I have to go out of my way sometimes to, find some of my resources to gain my information. But so far, so good, so I can't complain.
I take from that you don't probably do a class with Dr. Lascott.
Not as yet, not as yet, not as
Not
yet.
as yet. Well, I tell you, put on your seatbelt one time. And you, India?
Well, for me, it was challenging. That part of the semester where sports came into play and we had work, and I might they set it up, but exactly when we could play with sport, and then the work they start compatible. But for me, it was really challenging. I got stressed out, catch headache, all of that good thing. But at the end of the day, I think you just have to keep reminding yourself to stay calm. Just do one work, one work, one work, one at a time until you reach where to go. So yes, that's it. And you, Brandon, Brighton, when you were here?
Man, I think for me, when I had that challenging moment was when I decided for some reason or the other. Well, perhaps it's because I wanted to finish as well. I did 6 courses one semester, and we had training. So I used to commute to school every day from Belmopan, and the bus is definitely um, something that we could write bus chronicles about. Um, but when I was taking those 6 courses, I had to go to school early in the morning. I had a class in the morning, and I had one later in the afternoon. And then from there, I would have to jump on the bus back to Belmopan, and we used to train at Hilltop, and sometimes training used to go until 9 o'clock in the night. So I think balancing that and then finding the space to rest as well as to complete assignments for the following day because I had 3 courses the day after that. That was a challenge for me. So being able to manage that and to be able to perform at the level that I wanted to perform. So definitely, I think we all go through those challenges, but in the end, when we prevail, it's all worth it, you know. Brandon, what would you say to any young person, particularly athletes who are thinking about going back to school, who are seeking opportunity to go back to school? What would be your message to those people?
My message would be look at me as an example, on further education. When it comes to life and opportunities, I'll get privileges that some do. If you're one of the few that get the opportunity to do school, do your best. Sometimes yes, you might find struggles, but there's always a way to overcome. Most of the time, we don't want to challenge ourselves. When we find obstacles, some of us just give up. Giving up is not an option for me. Sometimes, yes, you look at things and say, man, I wish I never got myself into it. But end of the day, whenever it's done, you will be the one celebrating. So for any person out there that interested in going back to school, put your best foot forward. Come on out. Show your skills. A lot of people want this opportunity, but when they have an open child, not a lot of people come out and show what they can do as whichever sports discipline. It could be volleyball, it could be football, it could be basketball, but I would more encourage you to do basketball. Mr. Cad and India might go against it, but I don't have anything against volleyball because I also play volleyball as well. I'm not the best, but I have the idea. So as a sports person, you could just push yourself and you'll be recognized.
I totally agree with you. Whatever sport you think is best suit for you, go for it. Because I started with basketball. I started playing basketball before I started playing volleyball. And I guess that kind of kicked up the athletic ability in me a bit. And then I saw, okay, I actually like volleyball. So I transitioned. But certainly I agree with you. If you have that ability to integrate yourself into a sport, go for it. So I have a next section here, a leaf on thing. Officially call this section the Cruffy segment. Because basically I get the business a little bit.
Oh goodness.
So first question, where do you see yourself? In fact, make I ask it in a Creole. Where you see yourself to accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years? Brandon?
In the next 5 to 10 years, I see myself already graduate from Galen, becoming a commission rank officer in Belize Coast Guard, and just be a better father to my son, give him the things I didn't have as a person growing up.
And you, India?
Same as Brandon, I've seen myself already graduated from Galen. In the next 5 years, hopefully, I'm outside of the country studying anthropology just so that I can come back and then give back to the workforce.
And we need more anthropologists.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Need more anthropologists. Next question. You have any short-term goals you'd like to accomplish in the next few months?
I would say a short-term goal I would like to accomplish is start a business. Here it's very difficult here in Belize to work 8 to 5 and feel you can survive. It's very tough. Also, yeah, a student because I have a lot of responsibility. Well, a person like myself have responsibility. So start a business to generate a little money on the side. That would be one of my short-term goals.
And you, India, what are your short-term goals?
That's a good question, but I think I'd say to take this summer break that's coming up just to use it and rejuvenate myself for the upcoming semester. Um, get back on track mentally, and yeah, just complete the other semester upcoming. And you?
I think my short-term goals really is to solidify myself in the new working environment and to perhaps start looking at ways how I could attain my own home. So big goal, but certainly something I'm looking at in the near future as opposed to the far future. Um, but yeah, being integrated more into my workspace and becoming more abreast of the structures and systems that we operate under. Um, I wanna do another speed run, but with this speed run, it's basically either either. So the first one is Venus or Serena,
Serena,
So you know,
Kobe Bryant or Shaq,
Kobe
Kobe,
Bryant,
ice cream or pizza,
ice cream,
pizza,
definitely.
hot or cold,
cool,
Cold,
boat or plane.
both.
plain.
You say boat in there?
No,
You say plane?
no.
Oh, I
Both.
could understand why Brandon would have said boat because he the coast guard. But well, I know India will we the eagle, so we like plane.
Exactly.
um, tiger sharks or hurricanes?
Hurricane.
Why you want to ask me that for Brighton?
I don't know the thing for this one. No, I just want to see who did the ride with for finals.
I was a hurricane just because Brandon know more about basketball than me and I clueless to it.
Anyways, guys, I wanna take this opportunity to really say that Galen University provides amazing athletic scholarship opportunities, and we are testament to that. We are student athletes who continue to work day in, day out to ensure that we achieve the requirements, the requested mandates from our coach. Shout out to Coach Bernitar. Um, if you never know, Coach Bernitar actually used to coach me before I got a Galen, and so happened to come right back around and be my coach about 3 or 4 years later. I don't know if you guys know. Well, Brandon definitely know Beso and Harry Middleton and Devin Daly and those guys from the team back in 2011 who used to train at Matthew Smiling. But Coach Tar was actually the coach that took us to Puerto Rico in 2011. And BAM 2015, Coach Tar came at Galen University, came on board and really and truly helped to continue elevating the program there. So shout out to Coach Bernitar. But certainly, Galen University provides these amazing scholarship, and I always tell athletes take advantage of them. Take advantage of them. Expand your education and scale up. Um, any final words from you, Brandon?
I would just like to put out I'm advocating for Galen University. And any person that would like to come and join Galen University are welcome. I mean, it's a prestige school, has a lot to offer. As a student and athlete, we all get the same treatment. So just come on out and be a part of this eagle.
And you, India, any final words, any final parting words from you, India?
Definitely. As Brighton and Brandon said, you guys should come to Galen if you want to further your education. Great courses, great people. Um, yes, I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast.
And I'll sign off by just saying that as an alumni, I had the most amazing time at Galen University. You get to interact with your professors one on one because the classroom sizes are smaller. You get to interact with your coach. You really and truly get that holistic experience that you need to elevate yourself to the next level. And that is what I appreciate about Galen. It's a very close-knit community at Galen University. Everybody know everybody. And basically, you get the opportunity to push yourself to the next level and create the networks where you need to create in order to solidify yourself in these spaces. I mean, I'm currently working at the Ministry of Sustainable Development, and the networks that I created as a student at Galen University is a huge part as to the reason why I'm where I'm at right now. Because of these important networks that you build and social capital that you build within the community that Galen University provides. And so certainly, I encourage you all, if the opportunity lands at your door, take advantage of it. And with that said, we are going to be signing out from our first official Galen Afternoon Athletic Talk session, where we just chill, have conversation, and we're looking forward to our next guest. Brandon, thank you for joining us this afternoon. India, thank you for being an amazing co-host. And we look forward to engaging some more next week, Friday, when we come back with another afternoon lunch session. Make sure that you have an afternoon lunch early so that we could join the conversation, could listen to the conversation for early. But
Mr. Carr,
take it back to you.
The Eagles male team need a volleyball coach, so I'm just putting out there.
I was sending my contract, my consultancy services to Galen University.
All right.
But yes, I hear you, Brandon. I hear you. But do take care to our lovely viewers out there. Be safe, enjoy the weekend, and we will see you all next week, Friday, with another podcast.